Feed her.
Oh, I can't. Oh, it's so bad.
Hey everyone, I'm Dale.
And I'm Brit.
What, are you laughing already?
Well, yeah, because you just looked at me like I was supposed to do the intro, even though we talked about the fact that you were going to do the intro. So I'm sitting here waiting on you. I'm sitting on boardwalk with shit. And you're just fucking derp staring at me.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much going to do that the entire episode.
Okay, well.
This time around. But hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Toast to the Atypical. And today we have something super fun that we're going to be talking about. A little bit different.
Yep.
Coming off of a very weird episode we just recorded the other night.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Very strange. The birds was...
Birds aren't real.
Yeah. That was
It's an interesting one.
Yeah. It was, eye-opening, I guess. It definitely made me think. But this one's a little lighter. Definitely still some food for thought, some kind of cool stuff, and
oh, you know what? I don't have follow up from the last episode because we just recorded it last night. I didn't
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. I didn't even edit it yet, so we don't have any follow up.
And it doesn't come out for 2 more days from when we're recording this one. So
right, but
we are ahead of schedule, which never happens.
I do have follow up though on my theory that I was telling everybody about
with you
a couple
being
episodes
sick
ago with me being sick. I do.
Yeah, and
so the theory was I don't usually take multivitamins and things like that. And once I start feeling sick, then I'll start popping vitamins, vitamin C, just like your daily vitamin. And I squeaked through for a couple of days, and then I felt like shit. Like 2 days after our episode that we recorded. Where
yeah, you sounded pretty awful for a while there.
Yeah.
I still feel like you didn't get hit as hard as I did, though.
I didn't.
I had a really rough time for a really long while.
And like my
not as much. Today seems to be the day where I'm like barely coughing.
Yeah.
But up until today, I had still been coughing for a good while. So it was like a solid 9-10 days.
Yeah, mine definitely
that I was really rough. It was
long.
like today's Sunday. So it was like Thursday of last week.
Yeah.
That all of this started. It was a Thursday before Halloween that it really like seemed to come out of nowhere and hit me, or Wednesday maybe, but. Yeah, it was a long course, but I mean, the last probably 5-6 days, I felt significantly better. Yeah. But it's just lingering. Like I just have this annoying cough every once in a while, but it's definitely better than it was. So I won't complain too much.
She'll complain, just not too much.
Not to you guys. I'll just complain to you because my bullshit is your bullshit.
Wait till we did.
I like that.
I like that.
I never heard that one. I like it. Did you just make that up?
Yeah. I probably heard it somewhere. I don't know.
Probably. You're not that clever.
Snacks for this episode.
An assortment.
Crunchy pretzels.
Yep.
Don't. There's another throat noise. I don't know what happens to me. I'm a disgusting human being. We have pretzels, and then we got all sorts of candy and shit from
we've got Halloween stuff. We've got honey roasted almonds, which are delicious. And an assortment of chocolate, chewy candy, lemon heads. Yeah. Good stuff.
All most of them are inside of containers that are actually lids or pots to my camping supplies.
Well, okay. All right. I was going to say not most of them are in lids. 50%.
50% are in lids.
But
let's not get too technical, okay?
You want to talk about our drink?
Yes.
That you haven't poured yet?
I haven't poured it.
I'm sitting here.
On boardwalk still. All right, so I haven't poured it because I wanted to do a little drum roll here on it. I don't know how this is going to turn out on this one. It's supposed to be a very beautiful purple color. And, oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Let me shuffle some things around. It's supposed to be a very nice purple color, and it just didn't seem like it was going to be that purple of a color. So
our drink is inspired by our topic, as usual. So tonight's drink is called the Maleficent cocktail. And we found it on a website, thesoccermomblog.com. and it contains vodka, lime juice, raspberry liqueur, Sprite, and purple food coloring. You didn't put the raspberry liqueur in, did you?
No, I didn't put the lime juice in.
Jesus.
That's what I forgot.
You know, I tell this man that I'm going to handle tonight's content, and he does nothing.
Can't take me anywhere.
Nope.
So how does that work then? Here, I guess I gotta...
I think you have to dump it back in and shake it up, don't you?
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna go over here and do that.
That sounds like the best plan. So I will talk about what we're getting into tonight while you're doing that. So tonight we're going to be talking about some Disney and Pixar movie theories, conspiracies, crossovers, underlying themes, some mainstream connections, and some inter-Disney connections as well. So this is inspired by we are going to be taking a trip to Disney World at some point, and we are in the process of planning everything and getting geared up and ironing out our itinerary and all of that. So we thought that this would be a cool one to talk about as we're kind of in the Disney mindset right now. So yeah, we're going to be talking about several different movies. We're going as far back as Cinderella and Fantasia, or as recent as Moana, and it's Moana. The Incredibles and Cars and Inside Out, with a little bit of everything in between. So we've got some cool content. We'll be talking to you about some fun stuff. And yeah, we're excited to hear what you guys think.
So as I was saying about the drink...
now that you're back...
Let's try it with the lime juice in it this time. It did look pretty good, though.
It did.
The color looked pretty
good. It was not quite as purple as on the website.
No.
I'm a little disappointed. It was kind of like neon on the website.
Well, you know what?
Really
They
cool.
also had... The one thing we did not add in here, and you'll see in the drink link, is the cake shimmer.
Yeah, it also calls for a teaspoon of silver cake shimmer, which we did not have and we were not going out for. So, yeah, that just didn't happen. But I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. I mean, I guess realistically it could have, but I don't know that would have made like too much of a difference.
Also, the other substitute that I'm doing is...
Oh, we didn't have Sprite, so we've got you have club soda there?
Yeah, I have lemon juice, lime juice, and club soda.
Okay, so we've made our own Sprite, basically. And by we, I mean I sat here and did exactly what I'm doing right this moment.
Well, I'm going to be drinking the whole
and just
episode
bitched about it, so.
Give me all the stuff. So, big shout out, thank you to, again, our new followers, right?
Yay.
We have a bunch on the Facebook page.
Yeah. It seems like we're reaching more people. So keep plugging it, keep sharing it. If you're liking it, if you see somebody else, or if you know of somebody else that might like it, feel free to share it, tag them, tag us. Yeah, thank you. Indeed. Start off with a toast. See how this is. Okay.
Smells good. The color's good. How's the taste? You don't like it?
No, I don't dislike it. It's just lighter than I expected it to be. Like I expected. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a lot lighter.
Right? It's good. The flavor is nice, but it seems like it's
Here, I'll load it up a little bit more of this.
Okay. Maybe it's just because of like the top off with the club soda made it really light at the top. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah,
I also think the purple's throwing me off. Like that seems like it would be like a heavier taste, like grape taste, and it's really dark. So I keep thinking it's going to be like a heavier thing, but it's really not. So let's see if that makes a difference.
While we're sipping here. Yeah, while we're sitting here sipping.
Yeah, that's better.
The one thing
good.
that's been tough is a lot of the drinks we're coming up with are very summery drinks, and we're in the middle of the fall right now, so it's tough. So if you have any drink ideas, or if you want to donate a drink or whatever, we would love that. I mean, not even donate. You just give us a
give us a drink shoot idea, us some ideas.
And you'll get a shout out.
Yeah, especially if it's something like local. We would love to plug a local small business, and just shed some light on somebody else.
Yeah.
So
It's not bad.
yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay. I mean, it's very light. It's I feel like it's an easy drink. It doesn't seem
It's okay.
like it's gonna be like a like a really heavy weighed down.
I always get weird about drinking food coloring.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna do all weird colors.
You do.
I do.
Do.
I don't know. It just makes me a little leery of how I'm gonna paint the TP the next day.
Anyway, let's get back into the real reason we're here is not to talk about your poop. So,
sorry.
We are going to talk about Disney. So, this is going to be very heavy on me. Dale is going to be doing more reaction and colorful commentary over there.
Very colorful.
And I'll be kind of delivering the theories and backstory.
I am looking forward to this, though, because I know we've talked about some of these in the past. I'm sure some of them that you're talking about. I don't know.
You and I, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, not on here.
Right.
But yeah.
We may have, because again, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple that we've talked about, but there's a lot that I came across. I was like, wow, that's cool. I didn't think of that. Yeah. So,
all right.
Let's dive right in. So we're going to start off with a generic kind of blanket one. And some of these have actually been confirmed by the producers and directors and writers, which are pretty cool. And I'll tell you which ones were confirmed and which ones are still just fan theories and suspected things. So our first theory is that all the Pixar movies are in the same universe.
Right.
So 14 Pixar movies all exist in the same universe, and that includes Toy Story. Well, the Toy Story trilogy, so all three. Four. Are there four now? There's four now, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because doesn't Andy give
No, that was three.
I thought there was 4 Toy Stories. You keep going. I'll check.
Yeah, double check, because now I feel like an idiot.
I'll be the fact check.
No, there's 4. You're right. There's 4. Okay, so the 4 Toy Story movies: A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, and Brave. So it begins with Brave, which is set in the Dark Ages, and the theory begins that all of the creatures and animals in the Pixar world gain the ability to talk from the witch's magic in Brave. And then everything else that happens is after that time. And this whole
Brave is the first, even though that was a more recent movie, that was like the first.
Right, because it's set in the Dark Ages, and that set, the setting of it is further back.
Okay.
So even though it's a more new movie, and this only applies to these Pixar grouping, not the old Disney movies.
Right.
So it's just the Pixar ones that I named.
Okay.
Starting with Brave, and it doesn't happen chronologically in order that they were released, but more so in order of setting.
Right. Okay.
So Brave being the first, and then ends with Monsters, Inc., which takes place in the year 4500 in the future. So, the whole idea is that everything in between there is all interconnected in some capacity. Mm-hmm. They all have precipitated from Brave and then moved forward into the future. But the other theory with this is that maybe there's a multiverse. So not just one universe, there's multiple universes existing parallel to each other in separate dimensions. So this would explain how everything from like DuckTales to Star Wars can exist under one umbrella without ever crossing over with each other. So it also explains the crossovers that do happen. So how Aladdin and Hercules have been able to intersect.
How did they intersect?
So Aladdin and Hercules, I'm going to get into that a little bit more.
Okay.
There was a crossover episode hold up. In the animated series. So, there was Aladdin and Hercules teamed up against Hades and Jafar in a crossover episode between the two animated series.
Didn't know.
In 19... 91, 99.
Okay.
The episode was titled Hercules and the Arabian Night.
Interesting.
Hades is in the underworld, waiting around when Jafar's soul travels down. The two develop an immediate friendship where they, powwow about their stories of being awful people. And they both decide to try to fight the other villain's enemy. Okay. So Jafar decides that he's going to try to fight Hercules. Hades decides that he's going to try to fight Aladdin. And then, obviously they don't win because the bad guys never win. But yeah, so it just establishes how they could intersect.
Okay.
So one of the other pieces of evidence of the different dimensions can be found in the movie Enchanted, which, do you remember that one? That's a live action one with Patrick Dempsey and what is her name?
I don't know if I saw that one.
Why can't I think of it? The redheaded chick. That's not Isla Fisher.
Not Isla Fisher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amy Adams. That's her name.
There you go.
So the there's like the different dimensions being like she can enter from the cartoon world to the real life world, and she becomes like she starts out as a cartoon character in the Disney world and then comes to life.
That's basically the premise of this movie?
Enchanted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She comes through like a manhole in the middle of New York City, and then she's a real person, and she still can she still breaks out into
like
song.
Roger Rabbit style, because doesn't Roger Rabbit do that too?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a Roger Rabbit.
I think Roger Rabbit does it. He's still cartoon, but he's in like the real world.
No, she's not a cartoon anymore. She becomes a real person.
Right.
But yeah. So this theory goes on to even suggest that like Walt Disney's theme parks are secret portals for us to gain access to the many universes. It even talks about the fact that each of the rides is disguised as a time loop by like the repetitive motions of the rides, and that wouldn't attract suspicion, and then that's like a portal to one of these other worlds, which, some of these get a little crazy. But it's cool, It's cool.
So It's a Small World does actually drive people insane.
Oh my God, that song could make anybody lose their shit. So the next theory is that the Disney universe is in the Matrix.
Okay.
So obviously Disney contains magic, talking animals, witchcraft, spirits, genies, aliens, monsters, everything, every type of fantasy that you could ever imagine. So the biggest theme throughout all Disney movies is that if people are good and pure of heart, their dreams come true. And that's kind of the running theme. Because of the happy ever after cliche, they're basically saying that there's no way that Disney's not in the Matrix. Because this constant good will always prevail theme is always there. So in the Matrix, Agent Smith reveals to a captured and beaten Morpheus that there were multiple drafts of the Matrix before the one that he and Neo were born into came to be. The earliest beta version was named the Paradise Matrix, and as the title suggests, it was intended to be a utopian cage that would lull humanity into a false sense of security. Except that, quote, it was a disaster, according to Smith. Entire crops were lost. The implication is that paradise was just too good to be true. And too good to be true is obviously a very good blanket terminology for all of Disney. That's not the way the life really works. So, there's a theory that the Paradise Matrix is Disney. There's also a theory that
that's interesting.
Disney, or that the Nightmare Matrix, which was the second version of the Matrix, was part of it too. So we could even theorize that different Disney movies, depending on how light or dark they are, could fit into either the Paradise or the Nightmare Matrix.
Okay. So cartoons or
doesn't matter.
Real ones doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Just Disney.
Just Disney in general. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm just having a hard time meshing the movies.
The cartoon, like the animation side of it?
Well, the Matrix with anything really. But okay. I can see it, I guess. I can understand the what they're saying there, what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
I didn't know I mean, I've seen the Matrix, but I didn't know there was like levels of previous ones like that.
I think they were like trial runs. Like it was like we tried this software and that didn't work. This is 2.0.
Okay.
Gotcha. But I mean, I think I've seen the Matrix one time, and it was ages ago.
So I could see it, I guess. I mean, everything in Disney is the same algorithm of good over evil. Doesn't actually happen that way in real life.
Yep.
So I could see that.
I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I could see that.
So we are going to talk about Aladdin, which is one of my favorites. So one of the popular theories states that Aladdin is set in the future, not in the past.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, we've always kind of assumed that Aladdin took place centuries ago. But this theory follows a handful of like breadcrumbs that are dropped by the genie throughout the movie.
Okay.
So when the genie in the beginning is giving Aladdin his makeover, he declares that his fez and vest combo is much too 3rd century. So why would that be a problem unless it's set way, way ahead of the 3rd century? So the genie also announces that he's been locked in the lamp for 10,000 years. So when he first jumps out, he's like, 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. But 10,000 years. So if we're saying that the 3rd century is when his clothes are from, and the genie's been locked up for 10,000 years, the setting has to be at least 10,300.
Right.
For the year.
Yeah, unless the genie was just well before the recording of that date or of 0 or whatever.
No, because he's been in the lamp for 10,000 years.
Right.
So even if he existed for years and years and years before that, he references the 3rd century, which means he was around and out of the lamp for that portion of time, and then has now been in there for 10,000 years straight.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So he has to be at least 10,300 time. So the other thing, there's so many magical elements in the movie. The flying carpet, the magic lamp, the Cave of Wonders. All of that is incredibly advanced, especially if we're really looking at the time frame. I mean, I get it's a Disney movie. It's fantastical. That's fine.
Right.
But there's definitely some magical elements and advanced technology. So the theory is that advanced technology has been hidden in the Cave of Wonders because people wanted to keep it safe from the nuclear war that turned the world into this big empty desert vast land.
Okay.
So one of the other things is that the genie impersonates actors from our time. There's a Jack Nicholson where he transforms his face into Jack Nicholson. There's another part where he, I think, references Robert De Niro. But there's several like modern actor references, and if this is supposed to take place back then, he couldn't have been alive. He wouldn't have been alive then to reference these people in the 20th century. So he would have had to have been locked in the lamp after Jack Nicholson and Robert De Niro's time.
That's assuming that he can't see what's going on around him while he's inside the lamp.
It wouldn't matter.
Why?
Because these people wouldn't exist yet. If it's supposed to take place back in ancient times, Jack Nicholson was not even heard of at that time in Agrabah.
I see what you're saying. I don't know. I find this one rough. I find that one hard. Yeah. because that would be a complete reset. So basically, what that theory is suggesting is that we came through the world that we are now, became extremely advanced to be able to make all these magical things, and then there was some nuclear war that trashed everything, turned into a desert, and now everybody's living like it was in a past life. I don't know. I don't buy it. And everything out of the what the Cave of Wonders, is that what it is? It's a spell. It's not machine. It's a spell. It's sand. It's sorcery.
Right.
So
do you
if
think
it were
that...
mechanical or something, I could see that.
Okay.
But
so do you think that the magic carpet was also part of a spell?
I think so. I think that it's all sorcery. I think it's all a spell. I mean, that's how the genie gets in the lamp. That's how Jafar winds up getting his
he
powers.
Becomes a sorcerer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's all the magic of it.
Okay.
I don't think but if you go into, I guess if you went into the idea that every Disney movie's part of the Matrix, maybe maybe the genie would know from one of the Matrix matrices before
and
who Robert De Niro was.
And if you go into the multiverse theory, and the genie is, this all-knowing, all-powerful genie, then he could theoretically have access to the different multiverses.
Maybe the genie made the multiverse.
Maybe.
I almost just died on a pretzel.
I saw the whole thing.
It was scary.
I was really worried.
I'm gonna eat the ones that are in my hand and then die.
Okay, don't do that. So, the original theory is that Aladdin takes place in the past because, Belle is reading a book about him, or maybe it's somebody else, in Beauty and the Beast. So in order for her to have been reading a book about Aladdin, he would have had to have happened before Belle's time in France. Mm-hmm. So we don't know. But the third theory is that the entire story of Aladdin is just bullshit. That it's all made up. I buy that. Okay. What are you thinking? Who's it made up by? What's the purpose?
It's made up by Elsa and Anna's parents.
No, but we'll talk about them. It's made up by the merchant at the beginning of the movie. So when the movie starts and he's singing the Arabian Nights song.
Isn't that the genie, though?
But is it? Or is the whole story made up? Maybe he's not. So listen.
I did know that because that's how it starts, right?
Right. So the whole movie starts with the beginning. This merchant, peddler, is trying to sell you a lamp.
Right.
And he's like, wait, don't go. Let me tell you the story of this lamp. And he's singing the song and he's telling the story and he goes into Arabian Nights. So, the theory, there have been multiple about this. One is that the genie and Aladdin and Jasmine and her dad and Jafar and Raja and Abu, none of them exist. That it's all this elaborate, ridiculous story that the peddler makes up to try and sell
sales
this.
Pitch.
Yeah. To try and sell the lamp.
That I could see.
Or is it that when the genie is granted his freedom, the genie then becomes this peddler and he then tells this actually true story about what happened, still in an effort to sell the lamp and get rid of it, but he might be the peddler himself. So the idea is that the peddler, how does he know so much about it? If the story's not made up, how the hell would he know all of these things and this gigantic, long, elaborate story about these people who fell in love and faked a prince and, this entire crazy, elaborate story unless he is the genie? So
what if it's Abu?
I don't think Abu's that smart. He's cute and all, but he's not that smart.
I don't know. Abu knew all this information, though.
So here's the evidence that the peddler is the genie.
Okay.
They are the only two characters in the entire movie who have the same voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
They're both Robin Williams.
Okay. Could be coincidence.
Very similar personalities, very similar mannerisms. The peddler's robe is the same color as Genie's body, that very specific shade of blue.
Right.
The two of them only have 4 fingers on their hands. Every single other character in the movie has 5.
Really?
So the genie and the peddler have 3 fingers and a thumb. Everybody else has 4 fingers and a thumb.
Interesting.
They're the only two characters in the entire movie.
Interesting.
So what's cool about this one is that this started out as nothing but a fan theory. It was one of the first theories of were we not recording?
we were recording.
Just one of them. Okay.
Recording your camera.
So it started out as nothing but a fan theory, but Aladdin's directors later confirmed that is correct, that the peddler was the genie.
Okay.
And there was originally supposed to be this big reveal at the end of the film, but they decided to cut it out at the last minute and maintain a little bit of mystery to it. And they had to cut the big reveal out of the final film. But it was originally supposed to always be that the genie was the peddler.
I like that.
I do too. I think it's really cool. And I love that you get the idea that he's just making his own way.
So, I never thought that much into it,
Mm-hmm.
but I always thought that was the case, that the peddler was the genie.
Okay. Like, after hearing this fan theory, or you just kind of assume that from watching it when you were younger?
I remember watching it when we were younger and just thinking, like, it's got to be him. Probably at that point in my life, just based on, like, the similarities of the color of, like, the garment.
Yeah, there were definitely, like, Easter eggs.
Yeah.
With him. Mm-hmm.
But I definitely remember that being a conversation between me and my 2 cousins. So, yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like that could have been, like, you're talking about Rose and Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that could have been, like,
That's where I got all my Disney movie watching.
That's what I figured you were...
No.
Okay. So, yeah. Which, you think that one is the strongest evidence?
Thus far?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
100%.
agree. I think
100%.
the idea of it taking place in the future, I don't buy that as much. I think I'm in the same camp as you. I don't think that
Mainly
there's enough
because,
technology and enough.
Yeah, so mainly because, and there's some movies that...
But it doesn't... Go ahead.
Any movie that has a post-apocalyptic feel to it, you still have some of that remaining technology.
Right.
And, like, if the civilization of Aladdin were that advanced, it would be like Star Wars then, where people are, like, living in poverty, but they still have a robot.
They still have a robot. Yeah, so that was my thought, too. The only thing that makes me question it, though, is, like, the 20th century celebrity references. So
I think that's more for the adults.
I was going to say, I feel like that was just like a keep the grown-ups interested kind of thing.
And that could have just been Robin Williams riffing too.
Oh, absolutely. But they wouldn't have had to put that in the movie, though.
Right.
If he was just goofing.
That's true.
But, yeah. All right. So, moving into a little more modern, we're going to talk about Moana. So, there's 2...
Amazing movie, by the way.
Oh, my God. The soundtrack.
The soundtrack
so good.
is up there with Tarzan.
We listen to You're Welcome, like, regularly.
You're Welcome, Shiny. Even
I love Shiny.
The ones that are in the native
the indigenous
tongue.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good.
Is it Polynesian?
I don't know. I know it's set in, like, on a Polynesian island, but I don't know if that's, like, the name of the language.
I got to hear the theory, because there's so many theories around this movie.
So I've got 2 that are big.
Give it to me.
I don't know what else you have as far as, like, what you're thinking. So, number 1, Moana is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So the theory is that she dies in the storm at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So after that point, after the storm in the beginning, when she washes back up on shore, or when she continues, from that point on, she only ever meets gods and mythical creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So she must complete her journey and then Te-Fiti brings her back to life. So the whole idea is that she is in this like weird purgatory until she completes what she needs to complete.
Okay.
Which I thought was really interesting. And like, a little morbid, little weird, but I don't hate it. There's
the
another
only thing
one.
I have to say about that is I don't think and I could be totally wrong. I don't think in that culture they believe in. I think they believe in reincarnation.
Oh yeah,
but not.
They absolutely do because they talked about the grandma coming back as a
right.
stingray.
So they believe in reincarnation, but not coming back to life as yourself. Like I feel like I don't know. It's hard to put it, but I feel like if somebody died in their village, they wouldn't be praying to bring them back to life.
Yeah.
They would be praying to have them a safe guide to the reincarnation.
Okay.
And
okay.
that's so the only thing that I would say is, yeah, her journey through everything, fighting with mythical creatures, whatever, she would then wash back up on the shore and like regain consciousness.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's like a dream state. You think maybe like she wasn't fully dead, but maybe
she just
like
knocked out or something.
Yeah.
And she dreamed of the whole thing from the teachings that they've taught.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be it.
Yeah. So the other one is that Hey is a demigod. So the fact that
Hey is the silent star of that movie. I fucking love Hey, dude.
Love Hey. Also, I'm every single time I watch the movie, I'm so sad that Pua's not in it more. I love Pua.
That's the theory that I have.
So I'm gonna let you talk about that one, and you can kind of pepper that in because I didn't talk about that one. So this theory proposes that Hey, the funky chicken, is a guardian sent by the gods to help Moana on her journey. And I think it's cool because if you look back at the beginning of the movie when they're showing flashbacks to Moana as a baby, Hey's exactly the same.
Yeah.
He does not age at all throughout that entire movie.
Because she's a
Moana's
bird.
now a teenager.
He's a robot.
He's fake.
He's a robot. And we've come full circle.
He also survives like super dangerous situations because like he literally almost dies like so many times in the movie.
feel like Hey and Becky from Finding Dory
are
are
the same. They are exactly the same. And also like, I mean, he's not even smart enough to eat on his own, yet somehow he can survive like really dangerous things. Like somebody else has to be looking out for this idiot.
Yeah.
So the theory is that Hey is being kept alive by magical sources of some kind or magical forces.
I could definitely see that.
So yeah, I could see that, but I'll let you talk about Pua.
Well, the only thing I know about that theory about Pua, and Pua's the pig,
right,
is that there's a theory that
he's
Pua
so cute
is Maui. Because, like you said, you only see Pua in the beginning of the movie, and then at the end of the movie,
when
after she resolves the whole issue with Te-Fiti and she being Moana, every time she's with Pua, she is not with Maui.
Right. So there's another theory about the pig. And it's that Pua is Moana's brother reincarnated. So similar to how the grandma comes back as a manta ray when she dies, the theory is that this pig is Moana's brother. So he's the only animal character in the film who's never seen interacting with any of the other animals. He only ever seems to interact with Moana and her family. So when she leaves Motunui for Maui, she leaves the pig behind. So then Hey, who's the demigod chicken, is then assisting Moana. And, you know, the one theory or the one portion of this is that she had 6 brothers. And apparently one was like a tormentor and one was wise and supportive. And during this time, her dad overlooked her talent as a sailor.
Okay.
Because he was just too crazy with her brothers. So the theory is that Pua is a boy name. So they're tying in the fact that it's animate, where like all the other animals have not like gender specific names, like they're just kind of neutral. So I don't know. I mean, I
don't follow that one.
I don't know. It's a little more.
I'm off on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a well fleshed out theory, but it was just something.
There's also
else that I came across.
A slight theory about the grandmother.
Ooh, I love her. What about her?
So she held the heart of the ocean for a while.
Right.
Until she thought Moana was responsible enough to return to Te Fiti.
Right.
So.
Well, basically, till she was like on her deathbed, and she gave it to her, right?
Yes. So the theory is that the heart of the ocean extended her lifetime.
The grandma's?
Yes.
Okay.
And
until Moana was ready?
Until Moana was ready, and then it rapidly accelerated her aging process until she gave the heart to Moana. And the comparison is Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I know you're not a Lord of the Rings person.
No, but I know enough about it.
So while he had the ring in his possession, he aged. He would get gray hair, but it was a slow aging process.
Okay.
And then once Frodo got the ring, Bilbo rapidly started aging. So it's kind of a comparison to that basically her giving the heart of the ocean to Moana caused her death, essentially, because she couldn't continue on without that energy from Te Fiti's heart of the ocean.
So, I mean, the ocean basically chose Moana when she was younger. Like the ocean kept trying to give her the heart, and she like didn't understand it. So then the grandma took it to protect it because she knew that it was going to be. So I like that. I think that's neat. That's an interesting tie-in to something that wouldn't really cross over otherwise. That's cool. All right. So, Finding Nemo.
Great movie.
So good.
He touched the butt.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not going to be as cute. This one's a little sad.
The theory is
he didn't
only touched the butt. He smacked that booty.
Oh my God.
What?
The theory is that Nemo's dead.
I've heard this one.
So it's one of the saddest openings in any Disney movie ever. It's one of the saddest opening scenes.
Yeah.
So Marlin's wife, Coral, and all of their eggs are attacked by this ferocious fish animal beast thing. Is that what it is, a barracuda? Yeah. Okay. So Marlin and Nemo are the only survivors. However, what if Nemo didn't actually survive? And the whole story, the entire movie, is just the story of Marlin dealing with the stages of grief. So we're going to start with the fact that the word Nemo in Latin literally means nothing or no one.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can easily map out the stages of grief in the movie. Or so Nemo means nobody. But in Latin there's several different, I guess, translations, but nobody is Nemo.
Okay.
So it hints that Nemo is nothing more than a figment of his imagination in the first place. Second, the 5 stages of grief. So denial is at the beginning when he doesn't want Nemo to go to school.
Right.
Anger is when he yells at him for swimming out too far.
Okay.
Bargaining is when he journeys across the ocean to try to find him. He's now like, okay, I'll give up my fear if this is what happens. He's now bargaining. Despair is when he sees Nemo flush down the drain. And acceptance is when he finally learns to let go of the past and move on at the end of the movie.
Okay.
So the theory is that Nemo never existed. And this was all just a manifestation of Marlin's immeasurable grief.
So, what about Dory then, too? Would have to not exist.
I mean, she might.
Nah, I don't know. I don't believe it. And here's why.
Okay.
When Nemo gets taken by the scuba diver.
Yeah. And taken to Darla's.
Yeah.
Or the dentist or whatever. Yeah. What about it?
Is that all just what is that?
Look,
is that all
grief
just
can manifest in incredibly real feeling ways. Marlin could have made this entire story up in his head that, oh my God, I never should have let him out of my sight, but he may have never existed in the first place.
So he's just thinking, oh, he's in a fish tank like this and he's doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Dory? She's fake then too?
Not necessarily. Dory might be real, but Dory is a mess on her own, and she doesn't know that Nemo doesn't exist. So when she first agrees to help Marlin, she has no idea that
What
Nemo...
about the parents of the school and Mr. Ray? Doesn't Mr. Ray specifically wait for Nemo at the one part? Like, I feel like as a parent, I'd be like, why the fuck's this dude hanging around the school?
Yeah.
Telling awful clownfish jokes. I don't know.
Walks up to a sea cucumber.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Squeaked my shoe.
I don't know. I mean, the imagination is incredibly powerful, and
I agree.
The entire Nemo or Marlin may not have been hanging out by the school. He may have just been completely dreaming all of this,
thinking of it. Yeah,
thinking of what could have been.
So I could see it, but I don't want to believe it.
Yeah,
because it's pretty morbid. I mean, I guess it could be a story for grief. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Okay. Lilo and Stitch.
Give it to me.
Lilo and Nani's parents were in the CIA.
Okay.
So the movie starts off with Lilo and her big sister Nani learning to deal with the loss of their parents.
Okay.
Nani's a hot fucking mess. Lilo is a hotter, bigger fucking mess. She is a train wreck.
She's cool as shit.
She's adorable, and I love her, but she is crazy. So, Cobra Bubbles is the social worker.
Okay.
Who tells them that he was a close friend of their parents, and he wants to put Lilo in foster family after doubting Nani's parenting capabilities. But what if he was not actually a social worker at all? And he was just another CIA agent who was tasked with watching out for the family after his CIA agent friends died. Because any social worker would have taken Lilo out of that whole situation ages ago. There ain't no way they would have let that amount of shit fly. And when they go to the Galactic Council, or when the Galactic Council comes to collect Stitch, the leader mentions that she recognized Cobra Bubbles, and he tells her that he was with the CIA at Roswell.
Okay.
So we know that he at least is an ex-CIA agent.
Right.
Turned social worker, or maybe not even a social worker.
Well, on that same basis, then maybe he did work with their parents.
Yeah.
And he is an ex-CIA agent, and now he is social worker, and he understands the struggle that
Right. Well, so that's the theory. The theory is that her parents were in the CIA.
Okay.
Which is never mentioned. But the other thing that's cool is he I'm sorry, Lilo, when she was with her parents, she would like follow her dad around, or this is the theory. We don't know much about it, but this is the theory that her dad would be looking for specific people or specific situations. And he would take Lilo with him as like a cover because like who's gonna suspect the dad and his kid out on the beach?
Pretty fucked up, but okay.
So Lilo became obsessed with.
I feel like the social worker should probably be after him for that.
If he's actually a social worker, who knows? So it even cites her obsession with taking photos as a major piece of evidence that she was involved because
she saw him taking photos.
She specifically takes pictures of like larger people on the island. So they're all overweight in some capacity or just large in general. So the theory is that her dad was once looking for someone who fit this description. And she was going around taking photos with her dad.
Interesting.
Seemingly innocently, but it's one of her core memories with her father and one of her happy memories with him. And that's something that she latched onto after he died.
I could believe this.
Yeah.
I could believe this theory.
And there's never any conversation about how the parents died or what happened. Yeah. It's literally just they died and now it's Nani and Lilo.
I could definitely believe this theory. For a number of reasons. But yeah, Agent Bubbles is definitely not just a social worker.
Hell no.
He was clearly a CIA agent previously or some other contract something, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, he says that he was with the CIA.
Okay.
But my question is more like, if you were involved with aliens at Roswell, like, you just gonna stop being a CIA agent and become a social worker out of nowhere? My guess is that he was partners with Donnie and Lilo's parents, and then after they died, he promised that he would watch after.
See, I always thought that he had some sort of tie to the Galactic Alliance. Galactic Alliance.
Galactic Council. But Galactic Alliance is Star Wars. No, it's and Toy Story.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought he had some sort of tie with them because of the conversation that he had with them.
Yeah. The leader of the Galactic Council, the woman, I can't remember her name, but she
reminds me of the lady from the Weakest Link show. Remember that show?
Oh my God.
Right?
I thought she reminded me of the chick from Monsters, Inc.
The chick from
Mike's girlfriend.
I can't.
She was like skinny with like the weird like bulbous head.
Oh yeah, is she yellow?
Yeah, she had like the Medusa hair kind of business.
The first person I thought of was the
Roz.
Yeah. Mike Wazowski. Yeah.
We'll talk about them too.
All right. Who's next?
Cinderella.
Okay.
Well, not Cinderella. Lady Tremaine, Cinderella's stepmother.
Okay. This one's going to be over my head, but I'm going to listen.
So when the movie begins, Cinderella's father is young, healthy, and he marries Lady Tremaine, who we know at the beginning of the movie is already a widow.
Okay. So this theory is going to be based on
Lady Tremaine.
Yeah, but this theory is going to be something along the lines of who was her previous husband.
Kind of. Not really, but it's not important who he was.
Okay.
So the theory is that she kills her husbands. She finds and marries wealthy men, kills them, and inherits their estates. And then when she runs out of their shit, she goes and meets somebody else and does it all over again.
She's a praying mantis.
Black Widow. But yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
They never mention her previous husband. but we're made to believe that he was not her first husband. And she does have 2 children. So she has Drizella and I cannot remember her name. The other step sister.
No clue. This one's beyond me.
Anastasia and Drizella, sure. I think are their names.
Anastasia.
Hold up.
Isn't that a Miles Kennedy song too?
Yes. You're so weird. Yes, Anastasia and Drizella. It does not mention their father or what happened to them, but we're made to believe that in this time, you know, really not many people got divorced. You were really only out of a marriage by death. So we're made to believe that at the very least, Lady Tremaine had 3 husbands, all of whom died. Okay. And she ended up as the sole proprietor for their estate.
Okay. Was she was a witch?
No. I mean, maybe, but
a bitch.
Yeah, capital B. Yeah, she was pretty awful. Okay. But yeah.
Okay. I
it would also explain why she didn't give a flying rat's ass about Cinderella, because she never married for the right reason. She married to inherit the estate, and she didn't care. She was going to trample on anybody who got in her way.
Was Cinderella her kid?
No.
No.
Right, so Cinderella's mother died. Cinderella's father remarried Lady Tremaine. Okay.
So yeah, she did. Really
and then Cinderella's father died.
So she really didn't give a shit.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Cinderella one is over my head a little bit. I really did. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it.
Yeah.
I definitely don't remember much about it. Yeah. There's also some sort of theory with that movie, though, about the glass slipper.
Well, yeah, because it's bullshit that it even exists.
Well, the glass slipper and tying in the glass slipper with, I think it was Chinese bonding of the feet.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So the theory is that Cinderella was
binding
written.
Of the feet?
Yeah, binding. That Cinderella was written or inspired by Chinese culture.
Okay.
So in Chinese culture, well, ancient Chinese culture anyway, small feet were seen as more beautiful.
Right, right.
So women would bind their feet
right
to stunt the growth.
Such weird stuff.
And the idea behind Cinderella was that her glass slipper was so teeny tiny that no one else could fit in it besides her, indicating that she was the most beautiful in the land and that everyone else and their big Yeti feet were no good.
Some of the dumbest ideas of wealth come from stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do small feet have to do with wealth? The only one
it wasn't wealth, it was beauty. Tiny feet are supposed to be more beautiful.
Okay. So, because as far as wealth goes, the only one that I believe in is, I forget which culture it is, but there was basically the heavier the woman, the more it showed their wealth.
Well, yeah, because they could afford to eat.
They could afford to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, like, I mean, I forget which culture it is.
I mean, that's not, I think that's perfectly logical.
Mm-hmm. That's the one that makes sense, yeah.
I want to say it's Greek.
It's Greek?
I feel like the Greek people.
They like Windex too, right?
Beauty and the Beast.
What? I saw it in a movie.
Okay.
It was a documentary, I think.
It wasn't a documentary, you idiot. It was My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and you're ridiculous.
Yo, you just took a killer sip with the T-Rex arm right there.
I was trying not to whack the microphone, and then I did it anyway. So. It was not a killer sip anyway. It was teeny tiny. Here. All right, so I got a couple about Beauty and the Beast here. In fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 theories about Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Do we need to take a break this episode, or are we? I don't know the outline. So
we can. I'm getting close to halfway here.
Oh, all right. Then we probably should.
Well, let's do Beauty and the Beast, and we'll take a break after that.
Okay.
Okay.
Works.
So there's a couple in Beauty and the Beast. First one, which I already alluded to, was that Belle is describing another fairy tale during the during the song Belle, which is the one where basically all of the townspeople are just shitting on how weird she is.
Right.
So during that song, she talks about her favorite book, Far Off Places, Daring Sword Fights, Magic Spells, A Prince in Disguise. And people speculated for a while that it was Aladdin. But another fan claimed that it was actually Sleeping Beauty. So for starters, Aladdin is disguised as a prince, not the other way around. And in the story, she talks about a prince in disguise, not someone disguised as a prince.
But he is a prince.
He's not.
In his disguise.
Okay, but if I were to go out dressed like, I don't know, an astronaut, I would not be an astronaut in disguise. I would be disguised as an astronaut.
But you're an astronaut in your disguise.
That's not the same thing.
I don't know.
Anyway, so the theory is that she's actually talking about Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
And Prince Philip is in disguise when Princess Aurora meets him because she doesn't know that he's a prince. And during the song, we get a glimpse of the book when Belle is sitting near all the sheep reading it. And it looks to be more like Sleeping Beauty than like Aladdin.
Okay.
So the theory is that maybe she's reading Sleeping Beauty, which is her favorite, not Aladdin.
It's a fucking creepy ass movie anyway.
Beauty and the Beast?
No.
Aladdin?
Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a rapey motherfucker.
Well, I mean, have you heard the origin of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who haven't heard, I'll touch on it. Dale looks thoroughly disgusted and doesn't want me to talk about it, but I'm going to. So, the theory is that the original iteration of Sleeping Beauty was not just a kiss that woke her up. She basically is comatose when the prince finds her. And he decides to rape her, basically. She is still in a coma. She does not wake up during the actual act. However, she does awake 9 months later in violent childbirth. And that is what wakes her up.
She gives birth to 7 dwarfs.
That is a different movie.
And then...
This is a weird tie-in you got going on here. So yeah, check out that theory because it's a doozy. So this is a little more fun. This one I like. The theory is that Belle and Jane from Tarzan are
sisters.
No.
Lovers.
No.
Mother and daughter.
Close.
Stepmother and daughter.
You're very several generations apart.
Grandmother.
Great grandmother.
Okay.
So
I knew it.
Not only do Belle and Jane.
What the fuck is wrong with your camera?
I don't know.
Go ahead, keep going.
Not only do Belle and Jane both wear a yellow dress, they also have a very odd, eccentric father. They both have a thing for wild men and a passion for civilizing those men. Belle figured out a way to communicate with the beast, just like Jane was able to communicate with Tarzan. And this is my favorite part. There is a portion of the movie in Tarzan where Turk, the gorilla, is drumming on a tea set. And that tea set looks a hell of a lot like Mrs. Potts and Chip. It's identical. And the theory is that what if the tea set was handed down through generations from Belle to now Jane? And that would explain why they do kind of look alike. Their features are similar. Their nose is similar. Their eye or their hair color is similar. So yeah, maybe Belle is Jane's great granddaughter or grandmother.
I'm done. Not gonna mess around with that camera too much because I don't know what's going on. When we take a break, I'll mess with it more.
Okay.
There's a bunch of theories about the Tarzan crew.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. So that theory is
there's
that
a couple
Belle,
more that I'll talk about with Tarzan, but I've kind of grouped it by like movie.
So that's the theory that Belle's great grandmother is Jane.
Other way around. Belle is Jane's great grandmother.
Okay.
Or great. I think it's 3 greats.
All right. So let's remember that. Okay. All right. Go ahead. You're good.
So the other theory is that Gaston is the hunter who shot Bambi's mom.
Yes, I heard that one.
Did you hear this one?
Yeah,
oh, I thought I was going to get you on
no,
this.
I could believe that for sure.
So,
I fucking hate Gaston. He is the poison masculinity.
Oh yeah, he's toxic.
Oh my god.
So there's a theory about that too. You know what? Let's go there quick before we talk about Bambi. The theory is that Gaston is actually gay, and that he.
I could believe that.
Right. So the theory is that he's gay, which is whatever. Look, what you do is that is entirely okay with us and up to you, and this is not to bash anybody or anything. But the theory is that Gaston is gay, and the reason that he pursues Belle specifically, rather than any of the other women in town who are desperately throwing themselves at him, is because he knows that she will never reciprocate.
Got it.
And so then he can keep this air about him, because the times were incredibly different when Beauty and the Beast is set versus now, and the acceptance of homosexuality was virtually non-existent. So the idea is that he was not comfortable with his sexuality, felt like he couldn't be himself, put on this air of toxic masculinity to cover up the fact that he was really gay.
I believe it.
Pursued Belle endlessly.
Yeah. Never
looked twice at another woman in their town, because he knew that he could have any one of them he wanted if he wanted, but he doesn't.
I could definitely.
He knows that Belle will never give him the time of day,
yeah.
So he uses that as his constant pursuit.
Gotcha.
Knowing full well it'll never actually happen.
I could definitely believe that.
So I thought that was really interesting, and I think it would really, and not that all closeted gay people are that way, but I think for the time it definitely does make sense, and it definitely does track with what people would do to cover up that side of themselves.
Yeah. I could definitely believe that one.
Yeah. But back to Bambi. So, the theory is that,
yes.
Sorry. Everywhere you look when Gaston is around, every piece of decoration has antlers.
Mm-hmm.
There's always this big air about him being a hunter and about him being this big man. Mm-hmm. It's always this huge air of masculinity.
Right.
And in Bambi, you never actually see the hunter. It's just man shot Bambi. Right. So it's like this whole metaphor of man in general and everything that's the worst parts of humanity personified in Gaston.
Right.
So he uses antlers in all of his decoration. But Bambi is set in North America and Gaston is in France. Mm-hmm. So the chances of that are a little less, but I thought it was interesting to see that there was, I think it's a bit of a stretch to try and tie that. But maybe.
What was Gaston's profession?
I think he was I don't know that they ever really said it. He might have just been a hunter.
Okay. I was going to say, because if he was like a explorer of some sort, he very well could have come over to the U.S. to explore something.
It's possible.
And
yeah.
Yeah, okay. What do you got next?
So there was another theory which would make this a little bit more believable, is that Beauty and the Beast is set in New France, not
the fuck
in
is New France?
Quebec.
Oh.
Which
shut up.
I'm done
on that.
I don't agree.
Already.
As far as the countryside aspect of it, I don't think that Quebec and the French countryside really resemble each other enough to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, at least they drive through they ride through some pretty dense forest, right?
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's definitely Canada, for sure. So the wolves they come across, definitely Canada. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's wolves in France. I have no idea.
I would assume so. Yeah.
I would assume too, but
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely up there. Okay. So okay, all right, I could maybe see that.
So the last theory I've got is that Chip
Mm-hmm.
from Beauty and the Beast is the Beast's son.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's questions surrounding the timeline because we really don't know how old the Beast was when he was cursed. There's inconsistencies in the film's timeline because the film tells us that the Beast must find true love by the age of 21 to break the spell, and Lumiere states that the spell has lasted for 10 years before Belle showed up. So he had to have been 10 or 11 at the time that the spell was cast.
Right.
So if Chip is his son, that doesn't really track.
Doesn't really line up. Yeah.
But the portrait discovered by Belle in the West Wing, I think it was.
Yeah.
Shows him as an adult.
Right.
So.
Well, is it?
Go ahead.
It's him as an adult?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, the timeline doesn't make any sense. So the idea is that the Enchantress was the prince's mistress who bore his child and was sworn to secrecy.
Mm-hmm.
Then she cursed him and all of his servants out of spite, including their son Chip, who was adopted by Mrs. Potts to cover it all up.
Interesting.
And if you look at a picture of Chip and the Beast, like side by side,
yeah,
there's a hefty resemblance there.
Mm-hmm. You have it. So you have a picture of that, so we can put that out.
Yes, we will put that on.
Yeah, that. Maybe we can find a picture of the portrait that Belle found as well.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but I feel like I always thought that was. There's a child in the picture, isn't there? The child.
No. So, there's the. So this is him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
very
Chip.
Tarzan-esque.
And this is the portrait she finds.
Oh, okay.
But he's very much an adult. I mean, it's dark because that scene is dark, but he's very much an adult in that, and we'll include that for you guys
too. Very
too.
much like Tarzan.
But yeah, there's definitely Tarzan qualities there. So yeah, the timeline really fuels a lot of theories because there's so much inconsistency that people are like trying to look for ways to explain the things. So the other theory is like there's other teacups, right? There's Mrs. Potts, there's Chip, and then there's more to the set.
Right.
Why is Chip the only one that has a name? Why is he the only one that's important enough to be a primary character?
I don't know. I mean, you could ask that for all of them, couldn't you? I mean, Lumiere. There's other.
Yeah.
Candles. There's other clocks.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That one I think is a grasp.
Okay. But I mean, they never mention anything about Chip's father. Mrs. Potts, and she's fairly old to have a child that young.
Yeah.
She's definitely like grandma age.
Yeah.
So.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That takes us to the end of Beauty and the Beast. You want to take a break here?
Yeah, let's take a break, see if I can figure out what's going on with this fucking camera.
All right, we will be back.
All right, be back.
We are back. And we're replenishing drink here, so we'll be ready to go with some fuel for the second half here.
Take a little bit more so we can have something to toast with here.
So I will jump back in while you're mixing our drinks. So this one's going to be kind of a long one because there's a couple different ones about this one too. This is about Frozen.
Okay.
So Frozen has several surrounding it. One of the lesser known being that Sven, the reindeer's mother, was killed by ice harvesters. And
Maybe it was
Kristoff,
Gaston.
maybe, Kristoff is wearing her pelt.
Oh, fucking rude.
Right? So the idea is, at the beginning of Frozen, we're introduced to a young Kristoff and baby Sven. Sven is absolutely never seen with a mother reindeer at any point throughout the movie. And you meet the duo later in the film. They're full adult, both of them, and they've been friends for as long as they can remember. So at first, the friendship seems very innocent. Kristoff needed a way to get around the cold tundra. A furry reindeer is the perfect companion. But because baby Sven is never seen with a mother reindeer, we are led to believe she's been slain by the other ice harvesters. And her pelt was given to baby Kristoff to keep warm when he was younger. So this means that Kristoff has been wearing the fur from his best friend's mother for his whole life. But it could also indicate, it could also be part of the reason that they bonded as well as they did, because Kristoff smelled like Sven's mom.
Yeah.
And that's dark.
That's really
right?
dark.
The rest of these are a little cooler, but that one I was like, that blew my freaking mind.
That's darker
because he's
than Nemo.
absolutely wearing, fur. And there's definitely,
That's fucked up.
Right? I was sad. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Damn. That's cold.
You never know who your friends are, dude.
So Sven wasn't really actually friends with Kristoff then. Maybe he just feared him.
Maybe.
It seems like a genuine friendship to me, but
they were always so cute. I loved them.
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
How
about you cheer us up with the next one? Give us something better than that.
Okay. So there's some question about how Elsa gets her magic. We're never really explained how it happens and why she has it and Anna doesn't. Her parents don't seem to be magical in any aspect, and we just are made to believe that poof, she woke up one morning and she's got these powers.
I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, me too. So one of the theories is that she got her magic from the planets.
Mercury was in retrograde?
Maybe. So, according to some Disney movie buffs and the movie's producers, in Frozen's first draft, Pabby, who's the leader of the weird stone troll thingies, was supposed to explain that Elsa got her powers due to an alignment between Earth and Saturn.
Okay.
And that sequence ended up just getting cut. So there was supposed to be an explanation, which I don't know if it just didn't make enough sense or if it wasn't fleshed out enough that they didn't do it.
I think they just didn't need it.
Yeah, I think the movie was pretty great on its own. I am curious where her powers came from and how
as an
that
adult,
happened.
yeah.
But I don't think it was necessary.
But kids that are watching it singing fucking Let It Go, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What planet was aligned.
Right. Yep. So there's another interpretation of Frozen, and it's a bit political, which I kind of hate, but we're going to get into it. So the theory is that Frozen is all about the negative repercussions of climate change.
Elaborate.
So Prince Hans represents the small island nations around the world who are threatened by rising tides resulting from melting glaciers. And Queen Elsa represents the extreme fears we all have of a climate change too severe to control.
What's Anna represent?
Global warming? I don't know. It didn't get that far.
I need to die off mic. Hold on.
Did you say I need to die off mic?
I'm sorry. I'm just dying.
Yeah.
I think this is a stretch.
Yeah, I don't like this one.
I think
It
somebody
was interesting,
just
but I don't
wanted
like
to
it.
get too political about it. But about climate change or global warming? What did you say?
Climate change.
Okay. Well, I guess it's kind of reverse climate change. Reverse global warming.
Well, yeah. Well, climate change in general. I mean, global warming is a climate change.
Right, but I don't know. She froze the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not really going to affect the small islands that apparently Prince Hans represents. Right? They'll be fine. You're freezing the ocean. You don't have the rising
The whole
tides.
idea is about climate change in general, not necessarily.
I'm gonna call bullshit.
Melting glaciers. I also don't agree with this one. I think it's a stretch. I think it's a little too far fetched. This one,
look to a different movie for your political agendas.
This one talks about how the trolls are the real villains in the movie.
Aren't they always the villains?
Not those ones. In Frozen, they're so cute.
Yeah, but trolls are usually the villains, aren't they?
They are. So the idea is that Hans actually fell in love with Anna and was on her side the whole time. She gets up the mountain. He even deflects a crossbow bolt at the risk of his own life.
Right.
But when he returns to Arendelle, he's suddenly the villain. So the idea is that when the trolls meet Anna with Kristoff, they want Kristoff to fall in love with Anna, and they've already sort of planted that seed with the "He's a Bit of a Fixer-Upper" song. Mm-hmm. And they just completely wiped Hans's mind and made him the villain in order for Anna to get closer to Kristoff instead of marrying Hans.
Okay. I like Kristoff better than Hans anyway.
Yeah. But why?
Because Kristoff cares.
Right, but we don't know that Hans didn't and that the trolls didn't just brainwash him.
I guess. I don't know. Weak. I think that's a weak theory. I think they're just grabbing at that one.
Yeah.
They need to blame the trolls for something, and I don't know. I think that Hans is a creep, personally, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kristoff is a much better man.
Little manual labor guy. Yeah. He's absolutely your type.
Yeah, I like him.
So sticking with Frozen, we're going to talk about the evidence that ties Frozen, Tangled, The Little Mermaid, and Tarzan together.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of evidence, and this is one of the first ones that I remember hearing that I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's legitimate. Mm-hmm. So theory starts
going with those.
Theory starts off by saying that Rapunzel is Anna and Elsa's cousin. So the story would explain why Rapunzel and Flynn are seen at Elsa's coronation. Mm-hmm. And there's a still from Elsa's coronation where you can see the back of Rapunzel and Flynn as she opens the gates. Mm-hmm. So like, why else would they be there if they weren't family?
Fair.
So
I'm buying it so far.
Rapunzel and Flynn are married, and Rapunzel's wedding was the reason that Anna and Elsa's parents were traveling.
Right.
And they're shipwrecked.
Right.
So their ship goes down. Parents never make it back. And the ship that sinks is the one that Ariel sees at the beginning of Little Mermaid, the one that she is exploring at the bottom of the ocean. But instead of dying like we are made to believe in Frozen, Anna and Elsa's parents wash up on an island, start a new life, give birth to a son that they name Tarzan. I mean, his parents are later killed by a leopard, so that kind of sucks and they really can't catch a break. But Tarzan is the brother of Anna and Elsa and the cousin of Rapunzel.
I love it. I love
You know
it.
who else loves it? Frozen director James Buck. He confirmed that in his head, he always imagined that Anna and Elsa's parents didn't die, and the plot of Tarzan just seems to kind of neatly fit this idea.
That's amazing.
And the location makes sense. So he pretty much confirmed that Tarzan is Anna and Elsa's brother.
That's awesome.
He doesn't confirm as much as the Tangled tie-in or the Little Mermaid tie-in, but I think there's enough evidence with what we've seen to tie that in. And the ship looks identical. Like if you look at the ship that's sunken in the beginning of Little Mermaid, it looks exactly like the Anna and Elsa's parents' ship, the King and Queen of Arendelle.
That's interesting. I love this theory.
I do too. This is one of my favorites.
Any theory that ties in with Tarzan, I love, because Tarzan, I cannot.
Tarzan is elite.
Cannot get enough of that movie.
It's so good.
The soundtrack is fucking pure gold.
Well, because everything that Phil Collins touches is perfect.
It's so good. Mm-hmm. So good.
Agreed.
Everything about that movie. So I'm super pumped about that. I kind of, maybe fucking Idina Menzel and Phil Collins can do a duet.
I like that. Throw a little Elton John in there, a la Lion King. I like it.
I like it.
I like where your mind's at, dude. All right. So sticking in that same vein, we are going to talk about Peter Pan, Hercules, and the Little Mermaid. So we talked about
Boys, Hercules, and Little Mermaid.
I didn't say the Lost Boys.
Okay.
So, since we talked about how Little Mermaid ties into Frozen, we're going to segue into a little bit more about Little Mermaid here.
Okay.
So, going back, Hercules and Ariel might not seem like two that would be related. You know, Hercules is set in ancient Greece. Little Mermaid takes place thousands of years later. But if you look at Greek mythology, they kind of have to be related.
Why is that?
Because Hercules' father is Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
And Ariel's father is
Poseidon.
King Triton, who is the son of Poseidon.
Okay.
So, Poseidon is the brother of Zeus, which would make Herc and Ariel first cousins once removed.
Okay.
So, Herc's dad is Zeus. Zeus's brother is Poseidon.
Okay.
Poseidon's son is Triton. Triton is Ariel's father.
Okay.
So, you know, both have red hair. There's some coloring similarities. There's, you know, the theory that they descend from the same line.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
We could, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Just looking at the lineage, it makes sense.
So another more detailed version of the theory is that Poseidon is not on Mount Olympus during Hercules because he fell for Athena, who is Ariel's mortal mermaid mother. Gave up his godhood to live with her under the sea, much like Hercules does for Meg, channeling his powers into a trident and taking on a new identity. And then...
Taking on a new identity as who?
Triton.
He's a god, though. He's not giving up his godhood.
He would.
How?
He gave up his godhood to live under the sea with her. Hercules gives up his godhood to live with Meg at the end of the movie.
As a human.
Yeah.
But Lord what? What's his name?
Well, in the movie, in Little Mermaid, it's King Triton.
King Triton is still a god,
talking about Poseidon.
Poseidon is a god as well.
Right.
I don't follow that one because they're
I don't know.
They're not giving up their godhood. They're giving up their position of above the water to below the water.
Well, I mean,
but Poseidon is the god of the sea, is he not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's why is he not present on Mount Olympus during the movie Hercules?
Okay. So he didn't give. Okay. So I could see that he didn't give up. In my opinion, he didn't give up his godhood. He gave up his position on Olympus to
live under the sea Athena
as a god instead. Okay. I could jump on board with that one, I suppose.
So the next theory ties in Peter Pan and Little Mermaid.
Not Peter Parker. I thought you were going to say Peter Parker when you first said Peter Pan.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Yep. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
None.
Correct. So the theory is that Ariel's mother, Athena, was killed by Captain Hook. So we know in The Little Mermaid that she was killed by pirates. That's absolutely in the movie. And we do see a beautiful red-headed mermaid in Peter Pan.
Okay.
So the theory is that that beautiful red-headed mermaid that we see is Athena, and that she is killed by Captain Hook prior to the time of the movie The Little Mermaid.
Okay. Is that your only Peter Pan theory?
No, I have another Peter Pan theory, which I wholeheartedly believe it.
The Captain Hook, Lost Boys, Peter Pan deal.
I mean, all you did was just reference the characters in the movie, so I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay.
So I don't know if this lines up with the theory that I have.
So there's another theory about the Little Mermaid, and it's that the sea witch Ursula is King Triton's bitter ex-lover.
She's a bitch.
Uh-huh.
I could definitely see that. She's definitely a bitch, but
yep.
I don't know.
So it would explain
she doesn't seem like his type.
Yeah, I don't know. The theory is like we don't know how long ago Ariel's mother died, but Ariel has 6 sisters, and you know they all look fairly different to each other. So like maybe they're not all from the same mother. Maybe Ursula is one of them, and she's just a bitter
bitch,
crazy bitch, and is trying to get some revenge on him.
Okay. Mediocre.
So, Little Mermaid is supposed to take place in Denmark.
Under the ocean. Oh.
Well, yeah, but in Denmark. Under the sea. But Denmark is fairly close to the UK, which is the setting for Peter Pan. And the idea is that Neverland is floating somewhere in between the two.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yep.
That's an interesting one.
So, no, that's it for that, for the Peter Pan and the Little Mermaid. Yeah. So the other theory that I have is just about Peter Pan itself.
Yes, give me this one. Because I want to see if this one lines up with mine.
I feel like it has to.
I hope it doesn't. I want to contribute something. Other than throat noises and
Peter Pan.
Faulty camera work.
Everybody's dead.
Oh, all right. That's not the one I have.
Really?
Yeah.
So the theory is that Neverland is the afterlife.
Okay.
Which would explain why they never grow up.
Mm-hmm.
The Lost Boys are just like these lost souls that are always there.
Yeah.
So maybe they're already dead.
Okay.
Which would make Peter Pan the angel of death.
Okay.
And that's why he sneaks in your bedroom at night and
yes,
like takes you by the hand and we fly to the
flies you out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that he's the angel of death.
Okay.
Which I buy into this 1,000,000%. I love this theory.
Does that theory take it a step further? Because that's where my theory comes in.
No, but hit me.
So my theory is Peter Pan is the angel of death. He steals these children at night.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
But Captain Hook is not the bad guy. He's the guy that's trying to get these kids away from Peter Pan.
Yo!
So he's the guy that's trying to save these kids.
My mind is fucking blown.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah, so that's the theory, that Captain Hook's actually the good guy.
And Peter Pan's the bad guy.
He just tricks everybody and gets to them first. How about that?
I like that.
Yep.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And when I first heard that, I was like, oh, shit. Talk about a redirection.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to get into Tangled and Snow White.
Okay.
So this theory has to do with the evil beings in both movies.
Okay.
So in both movies, the beautiful princess is raised by a woman who is not her actual mother.
Right.
Both women are obsessed with youth and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And both villains turn into old hags before the movies end and use deceit disguised as love as their weapon of choice.
Okay.
So the theory is that the evil queen from Snow White is actually Mother Gothel from Tangled.
I could definitely believe this.
So there's a couple of things that tie into this. So what if... So at the end of Snow White, the evil queen is presumed dead. But what if she didn't actually die and she just moved far away and became Mother Gothel?
Far away.
So the dagger in Mother Gothel's drawer looks very similar to the dagger that the evil queen gives the huntsman in Snow White.
Okay.
Evil queen becomes insanely jealous of Snow White. She's the only one whose beauty surpasses her own, so she becomes like violently jealous of it. And Mother Gothel is obsessed with maintaining her youth throughout Tangled. And the other thing is when Mother Gothel returns to her old age at the end of Tangled, when they cut off Rapunzel's hair, she looks a hell of a lot like the old hag, the evil queen in disguise in Snow White.
Yeah.
So there's a couple little tie-ins there that this one is not one that's been confirmed, but this is one I definitely think could be true.
I would definitely believe it. Do you have like a time frame of when those movies are supposed to be set? Like, are they reasonably close together? Either way, I
don't, but it would make sense. So Mother Gothel or Evil Queen is obsessed with beauty,
right?
And then basically when she leaves at the end of, or maybe leaves, maybe dies at the end of Snow White, she then becomes obsessed with maintaining her youth.
Right.
So if she found the key to immortality at some point, it wouldn't really matter how far apart the movies are if she found some, like this magic flower,
right,
that was able to keep her young. So this kind of goes with the heart of Tefiti and the ring from Lord of the Rings. You know, as soon as that power is gone, she rapidly ages and looks like crap.
Mm-hmm. I 100% could believe this theory because that's all part of witchcraft anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can withstand time because they have the spells to do it. They're obsessed with beauty and youth.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to maintain the fact that they look young even though they're old as shit.
Yep.
Because they're around for... I can definitely believe this.
Yep.
I'm on board with that one.
So...
What do you got next? What movie?
The Lion King. So this theory is that Scar ate Mufasa's body.
Okay.
So after the stampede, when Mufasa's dead, we don't know what happens. You know, everybody finds out that he dies. Simba runs away. Whatever. But there's a portion towards the middle of the movie when Zazu is in the little cage and he's singing, "I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts." Yeah. Scar has a skull that he's going like this. Mm-hmm. That skull is 100% a lion skull.
No.
Yes, it is.
It's on his paw.
Doesn't matter.
It's on one paw.
So?
That's not a lion skull. Lion skull's big as fuck.
No.
I don't know. This theory... So... I believe it.
Yeah.
But I felt like it didn't have to be said. I always thought the hyenas ate them.
So here's the thing. Hyenas don't typically eat already dead bodies.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Hyenas are scavengers.
No, they're not. Hyenas do not eat dead animals often. However, Lions will very often eat other lions to establish dominance.
Hyenas are scavengers. They definitely will eat other. They eat dead animals. 100%.
I don't know.
Hyenas are 100% scavengers. Let's say. No. Hunter or scavenger. We're going to do some. Hyenas are specialized type of carnivore called a scavenger. Scavengers consume the bodies of animals the scavenger did not kill. Most hyenas are also hunters, so they do hunt.
So what I've heard is that they don't eat flesh, like dead flesh, often. They will if they have to, but I've heard that they don't. Like, that's not their typical. Like, they like the hunt. They will not eat something that's already dead unless they absolutely have to. But lions will eat other lions to establish dominance.
So I knew that, but the hyena thing, I definitely specifically remember Discovery Channel life of seeing like lions, whatever other kind of hunters trying to fight off the hyenas from taking their kill.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
So I have a picture here of Scar holding the skull. And it doesn't look that far off from his own skull size.
See, to me, that looks like a baboon skull, 100%.
A baboon?
Yes, 1,000,000%
No
looks
way.
like a baboon. Yeah.
I disagree.
That looks like Rafiki's skull.
Rafiki's not dead.
I know, but... Go ahead, pull that. Show me that again.
Hold on.
Yeah, to me, here you go. This is a same angle. We will, just the top half of it, I guess, right? Well, whatever, I guess it don't really matter. You got the elongated nose. I'm trying to get one with like more contrast. Yeah, look, you got the elongated snout. Pull that picture up again. We'll compare these side by side in the video,
we'll put these in for you. Okay, and that's
pull up the other picture.
Okay, but that's a lion skull.
Pull up the other one. The
one of
cartoon.
Scar?
Yeah.
Yo.
No, but look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Sides of the head. Front of the head. Front of the face.
Well, I think they have to do it for the movie.
No, that's not. I'm calling bullshit.
Okay, call bullshit. I don't care.
My move on that one is I'm calling bullshit. Do I think he ate him? Yes.
Do I think he would? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a skeevy, nasty little asshole. So yeah, that's
Okay.
And then there's also like do the stars say sex in the sky in Lion King and that kind of crap. But that doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that.
I actually heard that actually says SFX, which is like the company
the special
that
effects company. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Okay.
So next we will talk about Up.
Okay.
I freaking love Up. It was so cute.
That's the one with the old guy and Doug. Is it Doug the dog?
Mm-hmm. You ready? I'm about to make Up even sadder.
Glad.
The theory is that Carl is dead in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie shows Carl falling in love, growing old, losing his wife. You know, it flashes, his life flashes before his eyes, basically, or before our eyes. He turns 78. He decides that it's time for him to fulfill a lifelong dream. He ties thousands of balloons to his house and flies away to the South American wilderness. He finds out that a little boy named Russell is in his house as they're freaking soaring across the world.
Yeah.
In a makeshift hot air balloon.
Okay.
The theory is that Carl died in his sleep the night before he was headed to Shady Oaks, which is the place he was supposed to fly to.
Okay.
The adventure he goes through in the movie is his journey to the afterlife, which would make Russell his guardian angel.
Okay.
And at the end of the movie, when Carl and Russell return to the city, this is supposed to signify that Carl finally made it to heaven.
Aww.
Right?
But what's Doug then?
Who cares?
Doug's just fucking guardian angel.
Doug's an idiot.
Doug is an idiot, but so's fucking oh my god, what's
KK?
No, the dog. Well, yeah, but the dog from Coco.
You don't talk about Dante.
Dante. No, you don't talk about Bruno.
You can talk about Bruno.
You can talk about Dante all you want.
I love Dante.
Dante's dumb as shit though.
He's so cute.
But he is definitely his Alabrije. Is that what they're called? Alabrije.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
I love. The only one I like more than Dante is Pepita. Pepita's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not my Alabrije, I'm gonna be pissed.
I just hate that Pepita's a cat.
Well, it's a fucking panther. It's not a cat.
But it was a cat in like real life. It was just a cat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
And then in the afterlife, it's that.
Poor Dante doesn't get any upgrade in the afterlife. He's just a dipshit
You're so
all the way
stupid.
through.
Window licking little snot nosed idiot.
He licks his own fucking opposite ear with that tongue.
Dumbass.
Oh. So I've got some more gross ones here.
All right. Let's do it.
Wally.
What?
Wally.
Eva.
Love Wally.
I feel like I know where this one's going.
Do ya? What you got?
I feel like I may have heard whatever theory this is.
That the humans are cannibals?
Maybe not.
So on the ship, the people are there for way longer than originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
The robots are never programmed to return to Earth.
Right.
It's never the intention, and we never see any animals or plants. So we have no idea how they dispose of corpses on the ship.
So they're just eating each other. Basically.
So they likely solved the food shortage with the abundance of bodies.
Whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. I'm okay with it.
But do you believe it?
No.
No?
No.
I do.
I don't solely because they were obviously surviving on something other than like good protein because they were all so obese.
Yeah, but they also just sat around and drank like diet soda or, soda all the time, and they didn't do anything. Even if you ate well and didn't do anything, you'd still gain weight.
Yeah, and well, you know what? Yeah, I guess because I guess
your caloric intake has to be either equal or at a deficit, or you're going to gain weight. Mm-hmm. Some more rapidly than others, but
I don't know. I mean, they have to do something with the bodies, and they need to solve a problem of feeding people. So, I could see it.
Yep.
Chop them bitches up and make some pork chops out of them.
So another one that feeds into humans being shitty is Cars.
Name that movie.
Stop it right the fuck now.
Name that movie.
No. We don't talk about that in this house. No. Don't fucking say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Dale, I swear to God.
It's a good one.
Ew.
It's a good movie.
It's not good.
There's like 3 of them.
Why?
I don't know.
Why was there even one? Ugh.
They did it in South Park too, didn't they?
Yeah.
The human centipede.
Centipede.
Human centipede. Fucking repulsive.
Absolutely disgusting.
Awful
the worst movie I've ever. Ugh. I got the chills.
Feed her.
Oh, I can't. Oh, it's so bad. Anyway, so Cars is the story of human destruction.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, I got another one on this, but go ahead.
So the creepy theory is that Cars basically got rid of every human on the planet.
Right.
So after the vehicles became self-aware, they decided like having people wasn't necessary, and they just decided to off us all.
Okay.
But like, why don't they all sound the same? Why do some of them have accents? Why does Mater sound like Larry the Cable Guy? And what's his name? The little French car has a French accent.
Yeah.
Basically, Jay Ward, who was the Pixar creative director, confirmed in an interview with Screen Crush that the cars did in fact get rid of every single human on the planet. And he explained that the vehicles got their accents from the last person who drove them.
Interesting.
So basically their voice is now like they just have adapted the identity of whoever they killed.
Interesting. Okay.
Creepy.
Is that your only Cars theory?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So here's one.
I don't think I have anything else.
You may have heard this one.
I don't. Yeah, what's up?
Okay. So the quote unquote people in Cars are the cars.
Right.
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 What's Mater?
A tow truck?
Yeah. With a junkyard in his fucking backyard.
No.
He's just got bodies of all of these other cars in his backyard.
He's a serial killer.
Yes.
Or is he an undertaker?
He just enjoys collecting dead bodies.
So why is he a tow truck and not a hearse?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
How about that one? Yep.
Holy shit.
I think Mater's such a nice guy.
No, Mater's not a nice guy.
Just collecting bodies.
Fucking idiot.
Out just collecting bodies.
Mater's Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's a lie. Oh my god.
Yep.
Wow. Well, shit.
We're just killing all these movies.
Oh, they've been ruined for ages for me.
It's ruined.
Yep. All right. Next one. Don't throw stuff at me.
Not.
This next one is going to be a nod to our drink here. We're going to talk about Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
The theory is that Maleficent doesn't die at the end.
Makes sense. I don't even know the theory, but it makes sense.
So, Maleficent is a villain, and she's very poised, powerful, stoic. Like, most of the other villains are, like, unhinged. Crazy, violent, angry. She is poised at all times. So the theory is that she faked her death, basically, because she was always so composed. So at the end of her battle with Prince Philip, she not only survived, but thrived. So we only see her costume and not her body at the end. And if you pause the film at the right time, you can see Prince Philip's sword turn black as he impales her. So hypothetically, her dark energy could have become sealed in the sword, waiting to be released, similar to the way that the genie was released in the lamp. It's just kind of contained. So the theory goes on to speculate that things like the Black Death and the 100 Years' War could have been her doing upon escaping the blade, since Sleeping Beauty takes place in the 14th century and all these evil things happened after the fact.
Interesting. I can see that. I definitely believe in like the energy traveling into other things.
Yeah, like the transference. Absolutely.
Yeah. I could see that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
And they're right. We do never see her actual body.
I don't know if I've ever... That's the Angelina Jolie one, the live action
Well,
one, right?
Yeah, but this is talking about Sleeping Beauty. So like the original...
Right.
Cartoon one.
Right.
This is back.
Okay.
But yes, that is
the
character she is in the. I didn't see that one either though.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That's pretty cool.
Next one is Monsters Inc. So the theory is that Monsters Inc. or the monsters have a very good reason for hating humans. So one of the principal plot points in the movie is that they are terrified of and hate humans.
Right.
So why though? Like, we never really get a full answer as to like what their beef is with us.
Is it like a monster massacre or something? They try to kill all the monsters.
Well, yeah, no, but yes.
Okay.
So on the Monsters Inc. DVD, it's revealed that the monsters once lived alongside humans in harmony.
Okay.
However, men eventually drove the monsters away due to their ugly and terrifying appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And now they hate us.
Okay.
So it's basically like a fucking torch and pitchfork situation, and we just were shitty to them, and
now they're just
they just
bolted,
lived
they just
behind
want to scare the shit out of
the
us.
doors. Yeah, and
Until
they're
they
like,
decide,
well, if they're gonna think we're awful, we're gonna be awful.
and then they decide that laughs are better.
Yeah, but not right away.
I feel like we couldn't really live harmoniously with
Monsters.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of that one.
No.
Fan of the movie.
I like this next
Not
one.
a fan of the theory.
So this is also about Monsters Inc.
Oh,
sorry.
take it easy.
Shush.
Breaking the microphone.
So this theory is that Boo for Monsters Inc. is the witch from Brave.
The witch from Brave. Okay. Or just the same one that we said could have been the same witch in the old hag? Or no, that was different.
No, that's Mother Gothel from Tangled.
Okay. All right.
So the witch in Brave is the one that started the beginning of the Pixar theory.
Yes.
And
right.
maybe gave all of the characters their magic.
Okay.
So in Brave, the witch can magically disappear through doorways.
Okay.
Which we know Boo can teleport through doors for Monsters Inc. The thing is, like, Brave takes place hundreds of thousands of years before Monsters Inc. So timing wouldn't work out. But what if in transporting through doorways, she's also able to teleport through time?
I'm just going to say that.
Right. And one of the most compelling pieces of evidence is that there is a carving of Sully in the wood shop in Brave.
Yes. But
why would that be important unless she's Boo?
But there's also so many other teasers of all Pixar movies.
Right, which feeds into the idea that they all exist in the same universe.
Right. I could believe it.
Yeah.
I don't want to,
and it would
be. I love Boo.
it could I love Boo. But it could explain why she's not really afraid of Sully. She just kind of like, oh, okay.
Why would she turn evil though? What happened? Why would she turn evil? What happened?
We don't know.
Especially after Sully just made her laugh.
But Monsters Inc. takes place in the future. I mean, she's younger, but we don't know which came first. Like, at what point does she teleport through? Because Brave takes place centuries before. Monsters Inc. takes place centuries after. Sully doesn't exist yet. Okay, so does she go back and become the witch after the fact?
I see.
Which would make sense because if she's young in the year 4500 when she meets Sully, she knows now that these monsters have this power and this ability. She goes back in time, remembers Sully fondly, makes a carving of him in her workshop.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on board. I'm on board.
I love that one.
I love Boo, though.
I do.
Innocent little Boo.
She's so cute. So we got two more to go over.
Okay.
The Incredibles.
Okay. Love
the theory is that The Incredibles takes place in an alternate universe.
Elaborate.
So, what? When you first watch it, it's easy to assume that it happens in our time, in our world, except with superheroes.
Right.
However, if you actually look at it closely, there's significantly more advanced technology than we have.
Okay.
But the buildings, the clothes, the general feel and vibe of the movie is like 50s and 60s.
Right.
So how can it take place in both the future and the past? Unless it's in an alternate universe where it's still the 1960s setting, but humans have created new technologies at a faster rate than in the real world.
Got to think about that one.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it is older times in the real world. He's like a claims adjuster for an insurance company.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think they were just. I don't know. I guess it could be. There's also like the whole beginning of the movie is definitely old times because like it's newspaper snippets, not like online articles.
Yep.
Even the style of their
clothing,
their costumes, everything about it.
But then you have like Edna and who's the oh my god, the villain guy.
Yeah, I forget his name. He wanted to be
the guy with the hair.
Yeah, I forget his name. But the same could be said about Batman, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's a poor city riddled with crime.
Right.
And he's got all this technology. I don't know. I just think the bad guys and the higher-ups are always going to have the better technology faster. Like UFOs. The fucking government has them right now.
Syndrome is the villain.
Syndrome, yeah.
Well, you can believe it or not believe it, but the movie's producer confirmed. So the movie's producer, John Walker, confirmed that the alternate universe is the creator Brad Bird's vision. And that was the whole point of the movie.
Interesting.
Or the whole setting.
So I was going to say, it could even be a case of this guy hates his job so much as an insurance adjuster.
Right.
And he's struggling so much in life that, like, he just imagines that this is what his family does.
He creates an alternate world. It's possible.
He locks himself in that room and just fucking imagines, like...
Yeah. Like Marlon.
Yeah.
All right, last one. It's a long one. Toy Story. It's a long one because we got to talk about several movies.
Okay.
So one of my absolute favorites. I love Toy Story. I love the trilogy. I love the entire series. I loved.
You like the trilogy. Apparently, you don't like the fourth movie though.
I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
I do like the fourth one though. That was where Forky came in, right? And
it's trash.
And what's his the Daredevil guy? Duke Kaboom.
Duke Kaboom.
Yeah, I liked the fourth one. I just don't feel like I know it as well as the others.
Yeah.
1 and 2 were really,
yeah,
I think, the crux of our growing up. So we're gonna talk mostly about Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3.
Okay.
So this theory is that Andy's mom is Emily, Jesse's original owner.
Okay.
So when Jessie's first introduced in Toy Story 2, fans knew her as the cowgirl with this intense fear of being abandoned. Her old owner, Emily, neglected her for years, tossed her in a donation bin, blah, blah, blah. Jessie eventually learns how to trust again. She's very happy to become Andy's new toy. But Jessie really never gets closure. But one very popular fan theory claims that Andy's mom is Emily, all grown up. The reason for it is, number one, we never learn Andy's mom's name. In any of the movies, her name is never mentioned.
Okay.
She's just Andy's mom.
Okay.
Or Mrs. whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Andy's hat in the flashbacks and in the beginning of the first movie does not match Woody's hat. It matches Jessie's.
Okay.
It's red with the white piping on the outside. It is not the brown one.
All right.
And then when we're introduced to Jessie in the second film, it matches the hat. Now, if Andy's mom had this hat from when she was a little girl and gave it to Andy when he eventually got his own cowboy doll, that would make perfect sense. Why he would have a hat that does not match Andy or Woody's.
Right. Okay.
So
I can get on board with that.
Yep. And when we see a flashback of Jessie playing with Emily, Emily has that exact hat.
Okay.
And when we look back in the flashback again, Emily's room is decorated in a way that was definitely retro for the time, but it would match the time frame of Jesse or Andy's mom.
Okay.
So we know that Emily is not closer in age to Andy or, just slightly older than him.
Right.
We know that she would be like a generation ahead.
Okay.
So
don't you think that would be reflected in Jesse's personality too, though?
what do you mean?
She's an older toy.
She definitely, like, some of the things she says are very dated.
Yeah.
Like some of the phrases that she uses and some of the
I guess so.
the things. But I mean, you really can't go by that because if you're just going by that basis, like the most out there one is Buzz. The shit he says.
He is pretty out there.
And Rex, for that matter, like Rex is nuts.
Yeah, Rex is insane. Paranoid T-Rex.
So, it's also, it's brought up repeatedly how valuable Woody is. So I think it would be really cool if if Andy's mom found the boy version of the toy that she loved so much growing up to give her son down the road.
Yeah.
So I love this
theory. Why did she get rid of Jesse but not the hat?
I don't know.
That's the only question I would have. Like,
that's a good question.
Why?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess fashion-wise, cowboy hats are kind of always coming and going. So maybe she thought that it would be a style choice rather than a toy.
I guess.
I don't know. That's a good question. I never thought about that.
Okay.
Or maybe she thought people would like buy a toy more than they would buy like a used hat.
Yeah.
Like I'm more apt to buy a toy or like a figure, like an action figure or a doll than I am like some cowboy hat that somebody had on their sweaty head.
Jesse have a name on her boot or no?
I don't believe so. Not until Andy gets her. And then she does get Andy on the bottom. But if she did though, it probably would have been painted because the guy from Al's Toy Barn was like obsessed with getting the collection and like keeping them pristine in like original mint condition. So he probably would have painted over anything she did have. Like we see Woody's name or Andy get painted over on Woody's shoe at one point. So I would assume that would be the case.
Fair.
So this one's dark and awful, but we're going to go there. Toy Story 3 is an allegory for the Holocaust.
Okay.
So
elaborate, because they all mesh together, these movies. So
Toy Story 3 is the one where they're all being given away when Andy's going to college.
Okay.
And they all end up at like the daycare.
Yeah.
And
okay, with the purple,
the fucking creepy ass bear.
Yeah.
So Jordan Hoffman is a film critic, and he pointed out that Toy Story has many parallels to the Holocaust. In the movie, the toys are left behind, just as host nations left behind the Jews as the Third Reich conquered Europe.
Okay.
Toys find themselves headed for the attic, but mistakenly wind up on the curb with the trash.
Okay.
They're sent to Sunnyside Daycare, which represents a concentration camp. The newcomers are bashed and abused in the caterpillar room by the non-age appropriate children until they're eventually thrown in the trash chute. And there's the god-awful scene as they're headed towards the incinerator where they're all accepting their fate and they're all holding hands. And at the last minute, the toys are saved by aliens who represent the Allies. And at the end of the movie, the protagonists relocate to a place where many of their kind already live and already have an established foothold.
Shit.
Right?
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot more relatable than I thought it would be.
I know. I was like, Jesus Christ, the Holocaust. Are we really going there? And then,
wow.
I mean, every bit of it, I was like, holy crap. Because I also thought the incinerator scene was a little much.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just had Sid pick them. Like, when Sid drives by in the trash truck, why couldn't he just... I don't know. Did we really have to burn them?
Wow.
But, yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I
Yep.
actually believe that.
I do
There was no
too.
confirmation of anybody for that one, though.
No, just this film critic who pointed out
We'll
all the
never confirm
parallels.
that one.
No.
Okay.
Nope. And I'm sorry, we're not going to end on a high note. That's our last one.
You
Because
kidding me?
Nope.
You couldn't give me, like, I don't know. Amy's mom didn't die.
No, baby's mom died.
Gaston's not a dickhead.
Gaston is a dickhead. But maybe not for the reasons we originally thought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, The Witch and Brave is the one that started the whole thing? Is that what we're saying?
In the Pixar universe, yes.
Pixar.
Yes.
Toy Story's Pixar.
Correct.
So she animated the toys too?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And that's Boo.
Correct. Or maybe. We don't know.
Wow. There's a lot of tie-ins there.
Yeah. So I think, what was your favorite? Your favorite of the theories or the connections?
Well, not my favorite, but definitely I think the one that is tied most closely, I think, is that one you just said about the Holocaust.
The Toy Story 3 one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think my favorite's got to be one of the. I like the Tarzan tie-in.
Yeah.
I
like that one too. The Frozen and yeah. So I love
cool.
I love that. Number one, I love that they confirmed that was their thought process. Yeah. But I really think that is. It was cool that they dropped these little hints where like the ships looked very similar, and Flynn and Rapunzel are at the coronation.
Yeah.
So they give you these little like nuggets of Easter eggs without it being like, oh, mom and dad were headed to so and so's wedding, like without it being an outright explanation, because it doesn't need it. It can just stand alone. But it's cool that they try to tie in the entire universe, and it makes you look at the film from a more critical perspective and kind of see it as the wonderful work of art that it really is, because they put so much into their stories, and I love it. I think it's so cool.
So that, what you just said there, it reminds me of what's going on with the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would make sense. Marvel is owned by Disney now.
Right, but it's so much deeper than what you originally think it is. Okay. And every time you think, oh, it's figured out, they can take it even deeper by doing something else. So like each movie in that theory that you mentioned, what was it? Frozen,
Little Mermaid. Tangled, and Tarzan.
They're amazing movies separate from each other. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could have no idea that they're tied together.
Yep.
But then once you realize that, or once you find out, it's like that's your continuation then. Like you those movies I feel like leave you wanting more.
Yeah.
And like that's your more. And now your more is like, oh my God, like if I watch these movies in series, maybe it'll make sense as like maybe there's more stuff tied in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's so cool when you can just tell that the production team put that much thought into it.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. And I think it shows. And I think it's part of the reason that the Marvel series has been as successful as it has been. Because I think that, when you really love what you do and when you throw yourself into it in the capacity that they do, people enjoy it more. And I think it's easy. And that's just a really wonderful circle that happens. Like when people enjoy the movies, it makes you love what you're doing even more. And it makes you put that into the next one. And I think that there's a reason that Disney is the holy grail of movie making, because they do it so well.
Yeah.
And, I don't get me wrong, I like Batman, but DC just hasn't been able to match the success of Marvel. And I think Marvel having been paired with Disney is a match made in heaven. And I think there's no way that they could not succeed.
Yeah.
There just isn't. And I think that now that they're talking about all these movies existing in the same universe and in a multiverse, it just opens so many doors for them. And I think it's really cool to see the creative minds work.
Agreed.
Because the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I agree. You all right over there?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. That's what we got?
That's what we got.
Awesome. That was good.
Thank you.
I like that episode.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun not doing any work on the outline, too.
It was hard to, like, not talk to you about this the whole time I was working on it. Because every time I would come across something, I'd be like, oh my God, I got to tell him. And then I'm like, nope, don't tell him yet.
I do like that some of the ones that I knew were ones that you didn't have on there, though. So I was able to add a couple in.
I'm glad that you were able to be helpful.
Some fucking
useful.
benefit to...
Yeah. Yep. But, yep, that's what we got.
Awesome.
So, let us know what you think. If you have any other Disney theories, we'd absolutely love to hear them.
Yeah.
And there's tons and tons and tons out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are more. So there's a couple of Disney Channel theories, and there's also Disney Park theories. So and those are a little more sinister. They're a little more dark.
What's your favorite Disney Channel movie? Go.
Oh God.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
No, so I do love Xenon, but I'm sorry, nothing beats Smart House. I fucking love Smart House.
Nothing beats Johnny Tsunami for me. Actually, Brink might beat Johnny Tsunami. Mm-mm. They were my jams.
No. Nope, not me.
Brinker.
Nope. I liked
13th Year.
13th Year was good. That was the mermaid one?
Yeah.
Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish.
Loved Luck Irish. I also just loved the actor.
Yeah. What was his name?
Ryan Merriman? Is that him?
Know. Oh God, Disney Channel movies. Old school Disney Channel movies though, not the new ones.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Ryan Merriman. But yeah, I loved Luck of the Irish. Loved Smart House. That was the same kid, wasn't it?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I think he was in Smart House. Smart House was my favorite. That was probably the one I could like recite though. Yeah. But also Katie Sagal.
Yeah.
Come on.
Katie Sagal, yeah.
I adore her.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Let's wrap her up.
Yep.
You guys know the drill by now, hopefully at least. We're on this is episode 10.
What? Double digits.
I know.
What?
We're up in the double digits now. This is episode 10.
That's exciting.
So that's super sweet. We've been having a really good time doing this. Thank you all for listening.
Yes, thank you guys. This has been fun.
Keep following us on Instagram. That's a big one.
Yep.
Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and hit us on the. If you go to the description, our link tree is going to have everything that you can get to. All our social media, the ways you can watch us and listen to us. Email us. Atoasttotheatypical@gmail.com. Give us a call on our hotline.
Stop calling it that.
267-450-9448. And we'll
see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, and keep it real.
Oh, you didn't.
And
oh my gosh.
Keep it going. Get the jam. What?
You're the worst.
What?
You are the worst.
What other things can I say?
Nothing. Thank you for following.
Yeah. Thank y'all. What is this called again?
Maleficent.
Maleficent. A toast to the atypical and all the weird Disney shit.
Yep.
Cheers to you. There's all sorts of floaties in there now.
Right?
What the fuck?
I think it's just from the lime juice.
Am I gonna die?
No, I think it's just like the pulp from the fresh squeezed lime juice and the food coloring.
Ugh. Like I need a strainer for this. This looks like urinal cakes.
Why is that still a thing that you say?
Ugh.
I think it's fine.
Doesn't taste like real cakes.
I wouldn't know.
Good night.
Good night.